My name is Lindsay Bugbee, and today I'm going to show you how to make a unique and artistic gift presentation. So you'll want to start with a really cool wrapping paper. This is a hand-drawn printable from the Letter Writer's Complete Resource, which is available on the TPK website, but whatever you have around your house will work. So maybe you have a cool brown paper sack, maybe you have some fabric, just anything that calls to you and would make a visually compelling wrapping paper, use that. So I have this printable here, and what I'm giving today is a little notebook. So I'll want to turn my wrapping paper around, and I'm just going to put the notebook in the center of the wrapping paper and just test out the current dimensions of the wrapping paper. So obviously this is a pretty small gift. You'll just have to adjust the scale if you're doing a larger gift. Now, when I put these flaps over, this is a little too much paper overlap. So regardless of the size of the gift, you'll want about 1/2 inch to 1 inch of paper overlap. Otherwise, you'll be dealing with too much paper over here on the ends of your gift. So we know that probably, I think we should just get rid of about a ruler's width of this paper, and then we'll achieve that inch of overlap. Okay. And then if we test the gift this way, this also is a little bit too much paper, so I'm going to trim off just a little bit of that. For this particular gift, which you can see is not very wide here, we'll just want enough paper to cover this end. Obviously, the size of the paper this way will adjust with how large your gift is. All right, so ruler width might be a bit much there. We'll do just a little bit less. Gift wrapping is all about estimation. So you just want to make sure that you have enough paper to wrap the gift, but not in excess, because that will make the gift look bulky. Once you've figured out about how big your wrapping paper needs to be and you've drawn some guidelines, cut out those guidelines. All right, now let's double check to make sure that these dimensions are okay for the gift. Yep. And then of course these will work. I can just tell by looking at that. So what you'll want to do is try to center the gift the very best you can in this wrapping paper. And usually I put the part of the gift that I want people to see first on what will be the back, because they're going to flip the gift around and tear it this way, and then this is what they're going to see. Okay, so that looks pretty centered to me. What I'm going to do now is grab some clear tape, and I'm just going to pull this side of the gift over, maybe just try to make this side a little bit tight. Okay. And then pull this side over, again, nice and tight. Try to make maybe some folds by rubbing the gift on the corners here. And then keep holding that tight. Take your tape in the middle here, and then put more tape towards the end. But you don't want to tape on the part that is hanging off of the end. So where I taped, this is where the gift still is. Does that make sense? So the gift ends right here, and this would be the limit for tape, because if you tape here, you'll run into problems when you're folding this edge up. So same thing with down here. This is the edge of the gift. All right. So now, this is the tricky part for most people, is these flaps on the end. What I do is I usually push the flaps down from the top, and then I pull in these flaps on the side, just like that. Okay, so you see how that makes a little triangle right here? And here's what that flap looks like. So you just use your thumb to press and then pull it over, and then make some nice folds there. Okay, and then you pull that up nice and tight. And then you're going to tape that, and tape it really well because you don't want that flap to fly open. Okay, I know this part is tough to understand, so I'm just going to show you a close-up here. So first, press down with your thumb, right? So you're pressing that flap in, and then you pull over this flap to make a nice triangle here, okay? And then we'll do that again on the other side. So push down here and then pull over here. Okay, so this is what that'll look like. Yeah, and then pull this tab up. Okay, and then tape. Now, of course, at this stage you can be done because your gift is wrapped and it looks pretty, but I'm just getting started here. I cut a strip of brown paper from a sack, you know, that I got at the grocery store and had my groceries in. And what I'm going to do is make a belt out of that. So let me just test and see whether this is going to fit. Yes, it is. And what I'm going to do is write my recipient's name on this belt. So I've got my white calligraphy ink. And if this is totally turning you off, like, okay, I don't do calligraphy, I'm stopping right there, don't be discouraged, really. You don't have to put calligraphy on your gift. You could use, you know, any lettering, your own handwriting. Sakura Jelly Roll makes a really good white opaque pen if you want to go this brown paper route. So let's write the recipient's name, Sarah. And we'll let that dry for just a couple of minutes. So once you've got your sash or your belly band or whatever you want to call this positioned and taped, you'll want to take some ribbon or twine, whatever you have laying around will work. I'm using white because the white corresponds with this white in the wrapping paper and this white of the name. And then what I'm going to do is put the ribbon or twine just over this sash so it intersects the sash. And then I'll try to hold it straight with my thumbs while I flip it over, move it over a bit, cross these here, and try to make the cross at the edge of this sash. Turn the gift over again, okay? And then straighten this out. Maybe move it over to the right a bit, okay? And then tie this right here. Maybe move it down and do a nice double knot. Okay, and then just cut the ribbon here. You'll want about, I'd say that's 2 inches. And then you can cut little triangles in the ribbon. All right. Okay, now this is the last step and my very favorite part. Take some sealing wax and just put a whole bunch of it on top of that ribbon where we tied it. Okay, that should be enough, which is fine because I'm out. And then press a seal into it. Hold that seal for a few seconds. Remove the seal. And now you've got this gorgeous, unique, artistic gift.